Now, here's an update on the Dan Wesson Pointman carry. Before we go any farther on this, I do want to say that this Pointman carry is the 7th Dan Wesson that I've ever owned, and for stainless though. The other 6 I've never ever had any issues with, even right out of the box. If you remember the first video, this one locked up tight after the first 6 rounds. Managed to get it apart, relube it, put it back together, and it locked up tight after the next round. But in all fairness, Dan Wesson has been really responsive on this. I sent an email off to him the night of August 20th. Early in the morning on the 21st, I got a response. And their response said, "Our pistols require lubrication as directed in the operator's manual. The pistol galled due to lack of lubrication." Of course, now they haven't seen the pistol yet at this point. "I would not recommend out-of-the-box shooting with our stainless guns. Once they gall, repair is required. Lubing after a gall makes no difference. The damage is already done." So they did send me a return authorization, and they received the gun from me on the 23rd of August. On the 26th of August, I got a reply, said they received it, and said that it'll be 4 to 6 weeks, and they'll keep me informed as to how it progresses. That was on the 23rd. On the 26th, I had a return authorization, and their response was, "Work performed, gall repaired, gun requires liberal amounts of synthetic oil in a medium weight, surface protectant is applied when pistol ships, not a lubricant. Installed barrel link, barrel legs beveled, chamber throated and polished, pistol cleaned and lubricated, test fired, no issues." And that was again on the 28th, and lo and behold, 2 days later I had the gun back in my hands. Now, I haven't had a chance to do anything with it since then. However, I have disassembled it, and I'm going to follow their directions and put this back together, and I'm going to lube it properly. Meantime, I've got their recommended lubricant, Miltech 1, also their recommended lubricant for slides, the TW25B, and in reading a number of other posts during the week this gun was gone from me, there are a number of issues apparently with stainless Dan Wesson guns galling. And from what I'm getting from the post, and it's what I presumed in the first place, that this gun is built with such tight tolerances that even the slightest little bit of manufacturing mistolerance or failing to lap things in, or however they do it, can lead to galling. And even I've read several posts where even if it was properly lubed, it galled. Now again, when I picked this gun up, I checked it. It appeared to be lubricated. I got oil off of my fingers, and to me that's lube, not protectant. So I shot it, and obviously there was an issue with it. But in all fairness, Dan Wesson has been really responsive in getting this gun back to me in a timely manner, and we're going to put it back together, and we're going to lube it to their specs and shoot it. And also, I do want to mention on their website, it does say what kind of cleaner do you recommend in your guns, and it says we recommend FP10. Don't have any FP10 right here. Miltech 1, got that, and 25B, TW25B grease for the rails. Okay, normally I oil rails as opposed to grease them, but and I have read a couple of threads that say don't grease the rails because it just picks up grit. Well, they say grease for the rails and TW25B, so that's what I'm going to use. And again, we're not going out to a gritty environment, so we're going to see how this all goes back together. I do want to say that they did put a different barrel link in, as they said, and that's definitely not a stainless barrel link. Everything else on here is, now it may be stainless, but if it is, it's coated. Everything else on the gun is stainless. They did a beautiful job in polishing and throating the barrel. And let's just see how it all goes back together. I'll also mention when I took this apart that the barrel to slide fit, again, was extremely tight. And there's no side to side or forward movement in that. And actually it fits tight enough to where I can't just pop it out as easily as I have other 1911s. So I'm going to pay special attention to the locking lugs on the barrel. Those are going to be oiled. Rails are going to be lubricated, just like they said. And I expect I'm going to get an oil bath and a grease bath when I finally get around to firing this gun. feels just as tight as when I picked it up initially. But I will admit that it's dripping a little bit more this time than when I picked it up initially. So we're going to take it outside, and I'm not going to put any more than 50 rounds through it, because that's what Dan Wesson recommends for their break-in. And let's go see how it shoots. Dan Wesson Pointman carry, back from the factory. We're outdoors here at Riders Range. We're going to see how this thing works. It sighted really nice on the indoor range. We're going to try it out here at 50 feet and see if it's the same as the 15 yards indoors at Ann Arbor Arms, and see how it shoots. Hold that one down. That was me, not the gun. A little bit windy out here today. Not quite as tight a group as we got at Ann Arbor Arms, but I'll live with it. Quick on the fourth plate, just because that relatively nice trigger, in fact, a very nice trigger. Okay, that's all right at 12. I'll try it at 25. Right 8. And it didn't fully feed. That's the last round out of a Wilson magazine. Alright, let's try it at 50. Start with the silhouette at 50 yards. Hits it. Really hard to get precise alignment with that red fiber optic on a bright day. Let's try the 10-inch next to it. Nope. Try it again really hard with that red fiber optic. It just obliterates any light space each side of it. Still no. Try it again. There we go. Alright, let's try the 10. See where that goes. The other 10. There we go. And one more time on that 10. That's working. Alright, Dan Wesson. Pointman carry. I say that's a redemption. Wait for the full test. This is going to go up against a Les Baer in, I'm thinking probably about part 15 of the series here. And I think it's going to hold its own very nicely against that Les Baer. Redemption for Dan Wesson. I want to thank them for getting the gun back so quickly. Great job, great turnaround, great communication. Next time, I think if they're going to pack these with just preservative, not any kind of a lubricant, a preservative that looks like lubricant, then the least they can do is put a big cautionary note on the front, say preservative only, not lubricated, disassemble and lubricate according to page 12 in the manual. Or better yet, just pack it with lubricant, because how many people are going to even bother to read unless you've got that big cautionary sticker on the front Nobody's jumping to page 12 of the manual and say, aha, I've got to do this before I shoot it, otherwise I'm going to have galling issues. Really well fitted gun. Everything about it so far I really like, although that fiber optic again on a bright day is a little tough for precision shooting. But great job for Dan Wesson, number 7 in my Dan Wesson collection. Love it, it's working, and just learn something about stainless. Thanks for visiting Riders Range.